introduction to AWS. So what is AWS? So as you know, right, AWS stands for Amazon Web Services, as you guys answered on this session, right? So Amazon Web Services is the world's most comprehensive and broadly adopted cloud platform. Okay, we saw that, okay, there's something to do with cloud platform, right? Basically, cloud computing is actually on-demand delivery of the IT resources over the internet, right? It's like the purpose of that thing is like the pricing model, which comes as pay as you go pricing, which means instead of us trying to buy, own, and maintain a large physical data centers, the servers, the licenses, the power supply, the battery backup, maintaining all that heavy cost and price, we don't need to worry about everything, right? We don't need to worry about anything. They used to take care of us, and what we are doing is like we only use their resources based on our demand. For example, if I want to launch a EC2 web server only for 2 hours, I only need to pay for those 2 hours of that usage. I don't need to worry about the backend infra that's been supporting the server, nothing like that. So that's the whole concept about cloud computing. It's all about the on-demand delivery of the IT resources, obviously over the internet, which uses the pay as you go pricing model. So that's what is about cloud computing. And there are different cloud platforms that are providing cloud computing. One is obviously Amazon Web Services. There are actually over 200 fully featured services that's been provided by Amazon. The services means, for example, if I want to launch a server, just like a plain server, that server is named as an EC2, Elastic Cloud Computing. And that's the name of a service, Elastic Cloud Computing, right? That's how the terms has been named within the Amazon Web Services. That's a computing technology. That service comes under computing. So we have services for each and everything like that. For server, as I said, Elastic Cloud Computing, what I have seen over here. For security, for access permissions over your account, we have IAM, which is the Identity and Access Management. That's a different service. S3 is for the storage. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. Is it for storing the data? We can store up to 5 terabytes size of per object data. We have CloudFormation, which is like a management a platform where we can use JSON or YAML files to create a resources, which is a part of the DevOps tasks. Elastic Beanstalk is also a compute resource where Elastic Beanstalk is a kind of framework where we can actually deploy the servers and the resources based on our EB extensions and configs like that. So I was just giving a high level overview of a couple of services that what we have within the AWS. These are the mainly used ones. Like this, we have nearly over 200 fully featured services within AWS. And millions of customers are using AWS to lower their cost, become more agile, and innovate faster. That's the main thing what's been happening. So before we jump on to the introduction on the next one, we just want to know what stands to benefit for the on-prem users to move on to the Amazon Web Services, right, or to adopt cloud. I mean, for example, they might be clients that are having heavy traffic and they are okay with the finance, what they are being spending on the resources. They've been happy with the services, what they're getting. They're happy with the security and stuff like that. But apart from this pricing thing and the scalability, right, what make companies and government agencies to move from on-prem to cloud? There's been a lot amount of answers. The main thing is like more functionality that you can add on to the resources. There's been to add based on this more functionality, they can add more customers to their business. It's like they can add more security to their services. They can increase the speed of their innovation, their research and development through the agile format of this cloud. So there's been not only just like the scalability and the pricing model, there's been a lot amount of factors that the company or the people they used to take it while they move on to AWS. So that's one of the reasons. So this is the introduction and this is the flowchart of the Amazon Web Services. So on 2000, Amazon purchased merchant.com. And 2004, the first AWS blog was launched. And 2006 was the first AWS launches the S3, SQS, and EC2 instances, which was the breakthrough on this cycle. Okay, that's where all these services launch, and that's where the Amazon actually try to make pitch within this cloud business. In 2007, you can see that they launched a SimpleDB. In 2008, they launched the Elastic IPs, EBS, CloudFront. So each of them are different services. Will be going in depth within the upcoming sessions. But on a high level overview, Elastic IPs is something that an IP, a public IP that been assigned to each individual servers. EBS is the Elastic Block Storage, is a backend storage that we use to attach to the servers. CloudFront is the CDN network that we discussed about. It's a content delivery network tool. And on 2009, they launched the VPC. The RDS is a relational database. Route 53 is a domain name server. In 2010, they moved to CloudFormation, which is when I mentioned that we can use the JSON and the YAML files to create and manage resource in an automated fashion within the AWS account. In 2012, they move on to DynamoDB, which is a NoSQL database. Then they move to Glacier for storing data and as a Redshift clusters. 2013, they moved to CloudTrail, Kinesis, Lambda. 14 to Aurora. 16 to EC2 container service, and 18 to Elastic Kubernetes service. It's not like these are not the only services that they launch during these years, but these are the main and the the main impacted service that they launch on these years that boost up their business, and why the whole world is actually going back to AWS cloud. So there have been a lot of other services being launched, but these are the ones that stood up out of them.